Let's discuss today a particular topic that is very important, and a lot of people raise this question. That is, what role does AWS play or plays in the DevOps engineering course or in a day-to-day DevOps engineering life, right? This is a very common question that appears, and it's a genuine question because in the DevOps session, usually you probably would spend so much time learning approximately 10 different technologies in the mainstream technologies, right? And how much do you want to concentrate on a particular technology? And especially if it is AWS, how much time should you spend to understand AWS and work with AWS? I will answer this question in a pretty simple way and taking a real-time example so that it is meaningful and we also see the use case for it. Okay. Let us take a small example. Let us say we are building a very simple application for your company. This application will be written in a particular programming language and it will be deployed somewhere. And let's say you are the DevOps engineer in that team. Let us go through the technologies that is required for you to build and deploy this particular application. So the first and foremost technology that you would probably think of in this case is Jenkins, because any code that has been written it will be stored in GitHub, right? So from the GitHub, from GitHub, you would need to build this particular job and you would need to deploy this. So you would learn GitHub. You would also learn Jenkins, how to connect these two, how to build the job, how to automate the job, etc. Then once you have the job, once you have the jar, you can do two things. Either you can save a particular jar in a place, or you deploy the particular jar on a particular system. Now the deployment can be done in any place, and we'll see some options. Now, if you were to save this particular jar, you can put it in S3, right? If you want to deploy this thing, then you could probably deploy it on an EC2 instance if it is simple, right? Now, if the Jenkins job builds an image, then you would probably keep it in the Docker registry, okay? Docker registry. This Docker registry can be Docker Hub. It can be AWS Docker registry, anything, okay? So these are some directions that it will take. Okay, few of the directions out of many of the directions. These are the three major options that we can think of, right? So let me try to connect this. Okay, so if you see now we have S3, we have EC2, and then we have Docker registry. So going back to the explanation here, you can see how it is flowing. Now, if it is Docker, if it is S3, then probably it will deploy again on EC2 itself, right? If it is directly on EC2, you access it. If it is in Docker registry, then you can do two things again. You can either deploy it on ECS, or you can start preparing it to be deployed on K8s. That is Kubernetes. Okay. So we have two direction after we have a Docker image. Either it is on ECS or it is on K8s. And to monitor all of the system, especially ECS, K8s, and EC2, we need a tool to monitor and alert. Common tool, okay? This can be any tool, and I'm not going to specify that this has to be one. A few of the example, if I have to say, is Prometheus, Grafana. You can also use Zabbix. There are plenty of tools available. And the work of this tool is accessing this S3, and then accessing the monitoring this S3, monitoring this EC2, and then monitoring this ECS service, okay, and then monitoring the K8 service. This would be the major focus for this particular kind of service. Okay. Going back to our initial question, that being, what is the role? What is the role of this AWS in all of this? Is I believe the answer is pretty clear to everyone in this case, right? So if you see, this whole system has to be built somewhere, correct? The whole system cannot be built in the sky, right? I mean, it needs to have this service. You have to have the services somewhere, and in some cloud service. Okay, and that is what AWS is about. Okay, if you want to progress in the world of DevOps, you will have to deal with many tools, which is accurate. But where are these tools installed? How are they set up? What do they do? How are they managed? How do you scale those tools itself apart from GitHub? Probably I'll move it outside. You would need to understand DevOps very, very well. So any kind of learning path you pick, you have to see where you have to put energy and in which direction you have to put energy. Now you might be thinking K8s is very, very new. People are giving money, or it is a hot topic in the IT sector. I learn it. You will definitely be able to learn it. But when you start working in a company, it will be a disaster because K8s cannot be set up simply. It has to use some cloud providers to be set up. And if you don't know here how to access these particular cloud providers, then you are into a big trouble because you are already in the job. So I hope this answers your question and also a perspective of what is important and how much effort you have to put learning in cloud. If I were to say you have to at least spend 20 hours learning AWS cloud in any particular course, especially if it is DevOps course, so that you understand how to use different services in DevOps, especially set up all of the services in DevOps. So this is a quick session that I wanted to answer a few questions that were raised by a lot of my students. That is, what role does AWS plays in DevOps? So that is it, guys. Thank you.